This is Pinterest Marketing 101 for the total beginner. In case you're new here, I'm Emily Vales. I'm a Pinterest marketing expert and coach. And for over 6 years now, I have helped business owners increase their traffic and turn it into profit through the power of Pinterest marketing. And now I also help people start their Pinterest management business so that they can make money working from home, working on the visual search engine. If you want to learn more about hiring a Pinterest manager or checking out my secret Pinterest manager podcast, I will link both of those below. So let's just go ahead and get right to it. Before we get started with the steps for how you get started marketing on Pinterest, let's talk about what Pinterest is. So Pinterest is a visual search engine. And it always blows my mind. I have people come over to my TikTok, they'll see one of my videos, and people will comment, I didn't know Pinterest was still a thing. So before we go any further, let's just establish the fact that Pinterest is an amazing platform. It has over 578 million monthly active users. It has grown, I think the past year it grew 11% in total overall user base. So when you are thinking about marketing on this platform, it is very alive and well. And as a business owner myself, I totally understand and validate that you want to make sure that a platform is stable and thriving before you invest any amount of time or dollars, right, and marketing on the platform. And going along with this theme of Pinterest being very alive and well, it was quarter 4 of 2024. It actually surpassed the $1 billion mark, billion with a B. So in quarter 4, it made, I believe, $1.15 billion. So when you were thinking about this platform, it is definitely very alive and well and actually only continues to grow in overall user base. And one stat that always just blows my mind is that actually 88% of Pinterest users have reported making purchases from Pinterest pins. So when you're thinking about Pinterest, it's not just this platform to go and look at pretty things, or worse yet, go and look and then not be able to get solutions to your problem. I'm one of the OG Pinterest users. And back in the day, when you'd go to Pinterest, there was a time where a lot of pins you would click on and they wouldn't link you anywhere. So you'd be trying to get these solutions and you wouldn't get the solution that you were looking for. So Pinterest has definitely changed a lot from the days of having to have an email invite. So going back to the platform being very alive and well, it has actually continued to adapt and evolve over time naturally, because if platforms aren't adapting and evolving over time, then they're going to become obsolete. And specifically to really serve business owners, Pinterest takes pride in the fact that it is a full funnel platform, meaning people aren't just going there for ideas and inspiration, but it's actually informing people in their buying decisions, and people are actually buying directly from the platform. I know myself, last year I was getting ready to have my 4th child. I was in that nesting mode and I just got a wild hair and decided I needed to redo a room in my house, nothing to do with a baby room or anything like that. And I was looking for a sideboard and I found a piece of furniture on Pinterest and I literally purchased it from Pinterest. And that was a big purchase. It was several $100s. So that's just one very small example of how this platform is converting into money for business owners, and also how it is informing buying decisions and how pinners are buying from the platform. So Pinterest is alive and well, the intent is there, pinners are taking action, and it's thriving. So what I want to do now is I want to explain how Pinterest works. So Pinterest is a visual search engine, and that makes it really unique. And with it being a search engine, you can classify it along the similar lines of Google or even YouTube, where people come to the platform with a problem and they're actively searching for a solution. And what really makes Pinterest so unique is that it does have that visual aspect. So it really allows people to plan and get inspired and dream, and really they're planning these life moments in a unique way from any other platform. And so with it being a search engine, it is a great place for also not just, of course, large businesses, but for small businesses to be discovered, because 97% of searches are unbranded. So that means people are coming to the platform not searching for Target or Nordstrom or Walmart or these big name brands, but they have a problem and they're just searching for this specific solution, whether that be tonight's healthy dinner recipe or tomorrow's DIY project. So Pinterest is providing these specific solutions to the Pinterest users' unique problems, and doing so through a visual way. Whether you're a business owner who's just trying to figure out how Pinterest marketing works and how you can get started, or maybe you're an aspiring Pinterest manager and you want to learn more about how to market on Pinterest and why business owners would use it, I want to walk you through really quickly the Pinterest sales funnel, is what I like to call it. So, this is the series of actions that people typically take that leads to pinners making these informed decisions. So, the first thing that Pinterest users typically do when they come to the platform is that they're typically heading up to the search bar. And so maybe they are searching for tonight's dinner recipe. So they type those keywords that they're using for search into the search bar, and then they hit enter. The next thing they are going to see, they are going to see pins come up. And these pins are going to provide solutions to their problem. So, most likely, if you're searching for a healthy dinner recipe, what you're going to see come up are lots of different healthy dinner recipes. And so, from there, as you're looking at these pins, you are going to decide what inspires you the most, what appeals to you. And of course, that's going to look different for everybody. And so, the next action that the Pinterest user takes is they click on pins. And so once they make that pin larger, they might decide to really take one of two actions. One, they might save that pin to one of their boards because it is helpful, valuable information and they want to be able to come back to it later. Or two, they might actually click off of Pinterest and go and visit the website that is linked to that pin. And that is where the magic happens on Pinterest, when the Pinterest user leaves the platform to get more information. So maybe they're getting that healthy crock pot recipe that's going to make their life so much easier tonight. And so that is something that I really stress to people who are aspiring Pinterest managers, but it's so important to the business owner too, who's thinking about potentially investing their time or their money into this platform. Pinterest has really trained the Pinterest user to leave the platform. That is a typical and a normal user behavior. And furthermore, if a pin does not have a link, it is frustrating for the Pinterest user because we are used to getting more information about that pin that has inspired us. And so when we think about Pinterest compared to other platforms such as Instagram or TikTok, we are not typically leaving the platform. We are typically scrolling, we might read a caption, but we're not leaving the platform. We've not been trained to do that. We've actually been trained to stay on these social media platforms. And a lot of times, for better or for worse, right, get stuck into this doom scroll. And it can be very entertaining, yes, but it's definitely a different user experience. And arguably, that is one of the things that makes Pinterest the most powerful platform, is that it has trained people to leave the platform. And when people leave Pinterest to go to the website, that's where the magic happens for the business owner. Now, of course, that magic is going to look a little bit different based off of your unique business and your funnel as a business owner and what you are trying to achieve with Pinterest. But there are so many different types of business owners that obviously, of course, you need more eyeballs, you need more traffic, whether that be to your blog posts, your products, your services. So that is really how the Pinterest sales funnel works. And with those two actions, of course, a lot of business owners want people to leave the platform, but saves are a very important metric, actually the most important metric in the eyes of the Pinterest algorithm. So when you are marketing on the platform, you're trying to think about how can I inspire people where they look at this pin and think, ooh, this is so good. I want to remember this. I want to be able to come back to this later. So think about it on social media, you want people to save that content as well. But it's so much easier to come back to content on Pinterest because you can actually save those pins to these boards that you're curating. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I did want to walk you through that Pinterest sales funnel. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to give you a step-by-step for how you're going to get started on Pinterest and exactly what I would do if I was a beginner just getting started on the platform. The first thing you're going to want to do if you're just getting started with your Pinterest marketing strategy is you are going to want to set up a Pinterest business account. Now, if you have a personal account, you can convert that to a business account. And whether you're setting that account up from scratch or converting a personal to a business account, it doesn't cost a thing, it's free, and it's easy to do. And Pinterest does quite literally require that you have a business account if you're going to market on the platform. But it's also something that's going to be important because when you have that business account, it unlocks your ability to look at your analytics, which of course are going to inform decisions you're making in terms of your Pinterest marketing strategy. And it's also going to allow you to run ads in the future, should that be something that you want to do. So step one, make sure that you have that Pinterest business account. Step two, you're going to want to do in-depth keyword research. As I mentioned before, Pinterest is a search engine. And so you really need to have that strong foundation of what keywords you want to rank for on the platform, because those keywords are how your target audience is going to discover your content. And if you aren't sure what keywords to utilize, then it's really going to hurt you being discovered by that perfect person on the platform. And I will say that with Pinterest being a visual search engine, the keywords that maybe you use on other platforms, and sidebar here, TikTok, Instagram, all of these other platforms are becoming more SEO based, which is great. But the keywords that people are using on other platforms, they're going to differ than the keywords that they're using on Pinterest. So it is important to do specific keyword research for Pinterest. And what I do is I also recommend having a working document where you can really house those pillar and long tail keywords that you want to rank for. So highly recommend, if you need more help with this, to check out those other videos I have on doing keyword research. Step three, you're going to want to start optimizing your Pinterest account. So you are going to want to have a profile picture that really represents your brand well. I am really the face of my brand, so I do have a picture of me where you can see my face. It helps people connect with my brand. Then you are going to want to optimize your profile name. That is a great place, pro tip here, to utilize keywords. So mine says Emily Vales, and then there's this bar, and then it says Pinterest marketing strategy. So those are the keywords that I want to rank for. A lot of people kind of overlook the fact that you can include keywords in your profile name, and your profile can actually also rank on Pinterest. Now, the next thing that I actually see people who are marketing on Pinterest, they've overlooked this. You do want to have an optimized cover photo. And that's something that you can easily create in Canva. And it's just free real estate on your profile where people can, if they go to your profile, they can see this cover photo. And what I've done is I tell people the next step they can take if they want to learn more with me. And right now, because I'm mainly coaching and helping people start their Pinterest management business, I prompt people to check out my secret podcast, or I do have a PDF that helps them with getting started with their Pinterest management business. And then the next thing you'll want to do is you are going to want to write a keyword optimized bio. That is a great place to include important keywords for your business that you want to rank for. I do not recommend keyword stuffing, but just writing a few sentences that sound natural, but also do strategically include keywords that you want to rank for your business. Step four, you are going to want to create probably anywhere from 10 to 15 boards. And you can think of your Pinterest boards as a place to house your core content. They're really your content buckets. So you do want to think about the content and the topics that you are talking about consistently. And it actually is very important what you name your board titles. So if you're wanting to learn more about how to create the boards and also write keyword optimized board titles and board descriptions, I highly recommend checking out the video I'm going to link below. That is strictly, it's an entire YouTube episode just about how to name your Pinterest boards and write those optimized board descriptions. Step five, you are going to want to create Pinterest pins. Now, before you actually start creating these Pinterest pins, you do want to think about what objective or what you are trying to achieve when marketing on Pinterest. So I'm going to use my business for example. Multiple years ago, I was really only offering my Pinterest management services. So I am a Pinterest manager and I really wanted people to hire me for my services. But I also did have a DIY route where people could actually take my Pinterest marketing course if they wanted to market on their Pinterest account themselves, but they wanted to learn with me. So when I was marketing on Pinterest, I typically was driving people to my blog posts, or I did have a free training. And my blog posts funneled into booking a call with me for my services, or getting my lead magnet, which would funnel them down into my Pinterest marketing course. Now, both of these were more higher ticket offers because my services were at least $1,000 a month and my course was $497. So neither of them were super cheap. And so for me, I wanted to nurture people. I wanted to offer value first before people were probably going to be ready to buy or purchase either one of these things from me. And so when I was marketing on Pinterest, as I mentioned before, I was directing people typically either to my blog posts, my lead magnet, and I also would have some pins that were directed to my YouTube channel. So when I was creating those pins, which is part of step 5, I had already strategically thought about where I was going to link those pins to. Because as I mentioned before, one thing that is so nice about Pinterest is that it does take people from the platform and drives them off of the platform to the business owner's website. But as the business owner, you have to strategically think, where am I driving people to and what action do I want them to take? And so when you are creating those Pinterest pins, I do recommend creating those in Canva. And I'm going to link below a more in-depth video where it's going to show you the best practices for creating scroll stopping pins, because the text overlay, the images, all of that is really important when you're thinking about catching people's attention, but also helping with getting your pins to rank on the platform. So that's really a whole strategy in itself. And so I'm going to link those videos below if you want to learn more about creating scroll stopping pins. But if you're getting started on the platform, you already have your account set up, you have your boards, you do need to then start creating pins, because those pins are actually going to be put on your boards. Step 6, you have to be consistent on Pinterest. So as I mentioned in step 4, you are creating pins, but step 6 is really creating those pins consistently. I teach my Pinterest Manager Academy students how to obviously manage and market on Pinterest for their clients. And I'm helping them create their Pinterest management packages. So these services that they're going to be offering to business owners. And one thing that I have them put in their packages is they are creating anywhere from 1 to 2 fresh pins a day. And that's really the bare minimum. So when you're thinking about that, that's on a monthly basis. So you're pinning at least 1 to 2 fresh pins a day. And when I say fresh pins, that means new pins. So you're not creating or repinning, but you're actually designing 1 to 2 fresh pins a day. And you might think, oh my gosh, Emily, like I'm already on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I am doing things on Facebook, I'm on YouTube. It might sound overwhelming, but that's why I do love using a scheduler. I use Tailwind. Pinterest also does have a native scheduler as well. You can try both. I have used Pinterest native scheduler. I've also used Tailwind. I know that some people will die on that hill that quote live pinning or pinning in real time is the only way to go. I just don't subscribe to that. I don't think that there's only one right way to go about marketing on Pinterest. I do know that consistency is a must, but I have actually experienced amazing results with using Tailwind. So I'm a huge fan of Tailwind. Once again, I have more videos on how to utilize Tailwind, but what I do want you to take away, whether you use Tailwind or not, and I will share my affiliate link below, but another sidebar here, I only recommend platforms that I use daily, and I have used Tailwind daily for multiple years. The only reason why I became an affiliate was because it was a no-brainer, because I always talked about it and I was already using it daily. So I do teach my students how to use Tailwind, but I also teach them how to schedule out their pins using the native scheduler as well, or to live pin. And also another sidebar, if you are interested in hiring one of my amazing Pinterest Manager Academy students, they do have varying levels of experience. Some have been doing this for a year plus now and have multiple accounts, proven results. And I do have some students who are total beginners. So if you're interested, as I'm going through these steps, if you are thinking, okay, this is great, but wow, I'm realizing this is a whole unique strategy and maybe not something I have the bandwidth for, highly recommend checking out my Pinterest Manager Hire Form. I do have an amazing group of women who can take care of your Pinterest marketing needs. So fill out that hire form, share what your budget is, your website, all of those good things on that form, and I will connect you to one of those Pinterest managers. Now we're on to step 7. You have been marketing consistently as part of step 6. And as part of step 7, you are going to be looking at the data. I do recommend creating at least a monthly report. If you have a Pinterest manager, that's something that they should be providing for you. As a Pinterest manager myself, that's something that I did for my clients. And if you're managing your own account, you need to look at the data. I do recommend reporting from both. I look at Pinterest and Google Analytics, If you want a YouTube episode about how to do that reporting, what you're looking at, I will link that below as well. But just know that if you really want to see results on Pinterest, you do need to be looking at the data. It's going to tell you a lot. And I just want to warn you right now, if you are starting from scratch on Pinterest, there's only one place to go, right? If you're starting from zero, you can only go up. However, I do think that sometimes people have these expectations about how quickly they should grow and what this growth should look like. And I just want to say that Pinterest is a search engine. It takes time to see results. And one thing I always did as a Pinterest manager, I always set proper expectations for my clients. This isn't something where you're in it for the overnight or quick win success. This is really that snowball effect where you continue to build it, and then it starts to take off going downhill. And your content on Pinterest lasts so much longer than social media. This is another reason why, that's great if you're marketing on social media, but also why I feel so strongly that all business owners should also be marketing on Pinterest. I had inside my Pinterest Manager Academy, I had a guest expert call with Danny Maloney, who is the CEO from Tailwind. And they have this ability to survey really and look at millions of Pinterest pins because they are a scheduler and they have a lot of people using their platform. And they have this really unique data and insight that as a small business owner myself, I just don't have access to, right? And as he's sharing this insight, he gave a lot of interesting tips. And of course, my students have access to this training. It was really good. But he was just talking about how it takes 1 to 2 years really to hit that peak in the performance of a Pinterest pin. 1 to 2 years? What? That's insane. I will say, in defense of social media, I have found that my Instagram content definitely lasts much longer than it did even a couple of years ago, but it's not lasting for years. So I do think that it serves this unique purpose, not only because the user intent is different, but just due to the way people behave on the platform and because of how much longer it lasts. Like, you work hard to create your content, have it work for you longer, right? So I hope that these steps were helpful. I'm going to wrap this up here. I think I gave you a lot to chew on for now. And as I mentioned, I do have a lot of other videos. What you can do for me, I would love for you to hear in the comments what questions you have. If there's a specific step that you want me to dive further into, please let me know. I am a former teacher. I love to help. I love to teach, and I would love to create a YouTube episode over whatever you want more information or help with. So be sure to subscribe to my channel so that you never miss an episode. Like this video, let me know in the comments once again what questions you have, what I could dive further into for you. And be sure to check out those videos that I linked below. And as I wrap up here, I do want to just recap too that I do have my Pinterest Manager hire form if you need a Pinterest manager. And if you want to become a Pinterest manager, check out my Secret Pinterest Manager podcast, where I'm going to give you the behind the scenes for how I scaled to 5-figure months working part-time hours from home as a busy mom. And I have 4 kids. Yes. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope to see you next week, and I hope you have a great week. Bye for now, friends.